Today, we're visiting NORMA JEAN, an 82-foot Sunseeker Predator. Arneson super drives, black, California, and she's bitchin'. Today night, we're not only seeing an iconic Sunseeker, but we're seeing a hot rod of a yacht. This is a Sunseeker 82-foot Predator. So today I'm here with Travis Allman. He's the captain aboard NORMA JEAN, my 2007 Sunseeker Predator. And it is super, super cool. Travis, what did you guys do to this boat to make it so cool?
You know, we went through the entire thing. It was actually a two-phase yard period. In the first phase, you know, we went through and painted the entire boat. The whole exterior, inside every cabinet, backside of doors, the whole deal. Every piece of hardware, in order for that paint job to happen, we had to take off. And when that hardware went back in, it got new fasteners. After that paint job, we ended up going through the whole interior. We ended up painting the interior, refinishing the floors, redoing the upholstery. And the upholstery that we chose to use was the higher end stuff. Obviously, this person that owns this boat likes a high end finish. So, you know, we chose the beluga grade Sunbrella vinyl. We went with the Brisa couch, some of the softest vinyl that you use.
It's a contemporary look, but it is beyond clean.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, we've taken a lot of pride in taking care of this thing, and you can tell that there really hasn't been an expense spared. And it's not just cosmetics. You know, you go down to the engine room, and you could tell by the way it's maintained that this gentleman cares.
Yeah.
Welcome to the engine room on the Sunseeker. I'm going to run you through some of the things that we did during the yard periods, phase 1 and phase 2. We have two MTU 16V M93s that are 2,400 horsepower a side. That in itself is impressive. And if you look around, you'll see some more impressive things. So when we went through that exterior paint process, we also came in this engine room and we took off as much equipment that made sense, and we painted the bilges, painted the mains, painted the floors to match the same paint on the exterior, the Emron jet black with clear over the top. In addition to that, before we paint, obviously you're going to go ahead and you're going to do service. You're not going to paint prior. And so these motors are at 1,000 hours. We ended up conducting a 1,000-hour service, which was a valve lashing and changing of coolant, but basic maintenance you need to stay on. In addition to that, we got two generators, port and starboard side. The one on the starboard is 3,500 hours. The one on the port's about 24. And we ended up doing a full top end rebuild on both of them, so that way we could paint the blocks as best as possible and stay on top of that maintenance. And anybody that actually knows, that is well before the period that you should be doing a top end rebuild. But we were looking for a show finish, so that was kind of what we had to do. We went through all the hydraulics. Everything's been, as far as visually audited on hoses, on where you can. Now, you know, sometimes there's hoses through bulkheads that you just don't know the condition, and we did the best thing that we could, and we had two professionals come through and audit them, and any cracked hose was replaced. Every breaker panel was pulled apart, and it was audited, and connections were checked, breakers were replaced, and they were completely relabeled and repainted so that way it matches for the entire boat. So the exhaust blankets on the motors aft there were all completely replaced. We added all new engine room lighting on overhead to be bright white, so that way, of course, it accents the white paint, and then we added under the engines bright white, so it gives you that kind of underglow. Overall, we try to go through every single piece of equipment on this boat, so that way it would show a high quality finish. Now, some things might not have been necessary to replace. If a charger's good, why would we replace it? We're not going to replace that charger. But if a line was chafed, a line needed to be replaced, we did it. If it was in the way of creating a good paint job, it was removed. If it made sense to service it while it was off for paint, we did it. So we tried to make this thing as new as possible, given our circumstances, and I think we accomplished it. You know, after we did the engine room, we went through a second phase where we decided, hey, the paint job wasn't as good as we wanted to do in some areas. We ended up, at that time, replacing the teak decks.
Yeah.
And
that was just last year.
Yeah, and when you decide to do those things, you have a chance to think about, okay, well, what thickness deck am I going to go for? And you could have cheaped out and gone 1/2 inch. You could have cheaped out on mills, and this particular person wanted to go 3/4. And 3/4 gives you the best quality feel and look and longevity. And it's, again, a statement to this is how we take care of things. We choose the highest quality option, but we're not going to waste money about it. We're going to make sure we stay on it. We're going to make sure we stay efficient. And so
I think that along with the boat original Dawn Shed design, couple Arneson drives, 2,400
Yeah.
aside. I mean, the boat just gets up and rips. And it's got this huge 100-foot rooster tail when you trim it right. It is just really iconically cool. So this is the beach club that we were talking about on this Predator, NORMA JEAN. And what we did, again, is transpose it into, you know, not just a garage, but a, what, tri-function you mentioned?
Yeah, tri-function.
Yeah, give me some updates. What'd you guys do?
We added in the barbecue. And so that way, when we're back here, we can barbecue. That's great. But we designed it so that way it could swing all the way in. Once that TV's folded up, it could swing in and latch in. And once that's done, obviously the cooler's out of the way, you can take this davit, you can pluck in your jet ski, which we have not installed right now, custom rollers to mount into those surface mount plates. And so that way the jet ski can roll right in. And then in addition to that, if you had, you know, where you're going underway to Catalina and you need to load up the tender, this davit could also pluck up a ZAR tender is what we have, and chocks mount into here. And so if you're going to go on a long excursion and you wanted to bring the tender and you want to bring the jet ski, you can mount it inside there. Or if you're going to the bay, like I said, you can sit here and barbecue, watch TV.
Yeah.
And what, you know, it's funny, this ladder right here. This boat, the big event for us is always the 4th of July.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And so we anchor out Glorieta, and then we come here and people watch, and then watch the fireworks go off down south. And so we like to go on top of the hardtop. Well, this boat isn't really designed for you to climb on the hardtop. Yeah. So we made a custom ladder for us to safely latch in from the cockpit, and the awning zips back, and we can climb up there, which we non-skidded and everything. And we have chairs that go up there so we can watch.
And what's cool, it's not just a plastic ladder, it's out of stainless antique.
Stainless antique.
It's all the points that make it matter. And also, you got to note, this whole garage has been finished, like yacht quality finished inside. It's not just like it's been a rough finish. So again, congrats, it really came out cool.